All right, Shalom. I'm just gonna do like a quick hit. You know what I'm saying? I was meditating on something. Many lessons that got to get into, but I was meditating on how when the spirit jumped on the elders of GMS, and the elders, the bishops, the so on and so forth, the brethren, that when they first came out, with this information about the so-called UFOs. You know what I'm saying? Even when I came into the truth, we was laughed to scorn, meaning that people was pretty much calling us crazy, conspiracy theorists. The 10-4 hat concept. I'm gonna get into this video because Edomite looking guy's gonna say, pretty much make those points. And we was pretty much looked at as being crazy, you know, just out of it, right? But now that a lot of these people had to eat those words, you know what I'm saying? And even though we this has been explained through the scriptures, Jake still don't get it. That's how stupid they is. We have explained thoroughly these so-called UFOs are chariots in the Bible, or they're referred to as clouds. I just wrapped up a lesson doing that, right? So you can have the knowledge to understand. And what I understand too, that by our people, being in the so-called Christian church, it's really fucked them up, man. Like they, on such a low level that they think the Most High is just about hooping and hollering and regurgitating, they favorite Christian sayings, and that's it. And it's way more than that bullshit that you've been taught. Jake, and I was watching the brother from Orlando did a beautiful lesson going into just the simplicity, just the stupid fucking nature of Jake. You know what I'm saying? And I see why the so-called white man, it was the Most High will to keep Jake into chattel slavery for long as they did, because they don't have good sense. You know what I'm saying? And Jake been so indoctrinated. A lot of these Jakes is just it's hard to even fathom. You know what a mind is at half the time. You know what I'm saying? Slavery, that slavery shit was some heavy stuff, some heavy curses on Jake. But the brother was going into just how Jake is just, Jake just go along to get along. Jake is just trying to, survive in the system, and they actually embraced the system, the very system that's oppressing them, right? That's why they do all, because if they didn't embrace this system, that mean they wouldn't do celebrate Thanksgiving Day, they wouldn't do Christmas, they wouldn't do Easter. It's like the Matrix, literally like the Matrix. You know what I'm saying? Like that movie, The Matrix, is really how this the construct of this world. With Jake, Jake follows the so-called white men because they have power, right? And they have no more fight in them, man. Jake is totally finished. That's why if it wasn't for the elect, the Most High put it on our spirit to wake up, we would be fucked. You know what I'm saying? Because Jake is defeated. They just really in a sea of ignorance. And when you're in a sea of ignorance, you know how vast the sea is. A sea of ignorance. That's incomprehensible, right? And that's why some of our people that watch these lessons and they just can't. They elevated not going all the way up. And Jake got learning disabilities. School fucked you up. A lot of Jakes can't really comprehend and learn on a high level, right? So let's get into this video. Then I'm gonna get into some scriptures. The spirit was on me to keep going. So check this out.
Being captured on camera, and it's incredible. It really, mate. I'm sitting here and I'm looking through these videos of UFOs being captured on camera, and it's incredible. It really is incredible, and not just because of the UFOs.
Yeah, it is incredible. You think Jay will be in awe and shock of these things, but Jake, what gets Jake in awe and shock is seeing motherfucking Busta Rhymes on tour. LL Cool J on tour. That's what get Jake awe and shock, right?
Footage, but just thinking about it, I'm sure, right? Isn't it so strange that only a few years ago, if you were to have a conversation with somebody that you believe in UFOs or you believe in aliens,
Watch this. I'm gonna back it up one more time. I want you to listen up closely.
Thinking about it, I'm sure, right? Isn't it so strange that only a few years ago, if you were to have a conversation with somebody that you believe in UFOs or you believe in aliens, you'd be like laughed at, ridiculed, told that you're a tinfoil hat or a conspiracy theorist, or in some cases, right, had arguments about it. Right, I know that I've had arguments with some of my family members.
Well, there you go. He said a mouthful by him saying that. But yeah, conspiracy theories, it's just like Jake just followed whatever the news say, that's what they repeat. Whatever the mainstream news say, that's what Jake repeat. Jake a lot of times cannot fundamentally think for themselves. They're mentally challenged a lot of times. A lot of them got so many demons on them, they can't cognitively figure things out in the mind, right? And a lot of our women just, all over the MF in place, right? So you brothers and you sisters that can comprehend, you precious, you know. And so let me get into more of this, and I gotta say, I'm gonna make this too long. I'm just gonna get into a few scriptures.
About my thoughts and ideas about what's going on in the world, yeah, and what I believe and what I don't believe in, and conspiracy theories and stuff like that. Now, I'm not like a heavy conspiracy theorist, but some things.
Let me say this: the word conspiracy theory or conspiracy theorist was created by the alphabet boys, the CI. And you finish the rest. They made that word terminology popular, so they can keep you like. That's why you can't. So it's like when you trying to figure something out, right? Some kind of heavy or deep. For us what's going on, they'll just say the word conspiracy theory, and that's to throw you off. That's just to get Jake distracted, because Jake don't have a good attention span, and it throws them off, and they going like Homer Simpson, right? You remember Homer Simpson start thinking too much, it'd be like a monkey in his head with some tangerine or something, tambourine, and Jake get distracted and go back into some folly. They'll start looking up, the LeBron James stats or something like that. It's just to get them off. That word is a trigger word, right?
Think, hang on a minute, no, this doesn't add up quite right, But anyway, I'm going to go through some videos of UFOs. Like, people have
right, so they're everywhere. They have blanket the whole internet with these videos. Give me 1 second. Right, so you ought to be able to understand that you seeing actual videos. Now, you do have some fake so-called UFO videos out there, but you have to be able to discern, analyzing the video to see if it's authentic or not. But you got a lot of fakes too. But the authentic videos is showing you these so-called UFOs, the chariots of the Most High, doing maneuvers that cannot be comprehended, right? And Jake don't have enough sense to understand that that's not from this world, right? Because Jake is usually rationalizing through a cardinal mind. That's why they can't get the spiritual things. They on a low level. You know what I'm saying? So let me get into some scriptures. Right, and this is figure of speech right here. And Jake don't stand for nothing. They just stand when it's time to have fun, party, bullshit around. That's what Jake want to do, right? It says if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. I think one of these devils quoted this, if I'm not mistaken, like Thomas Jefferson, that devil. But there's some truth to this. It actually is the truth, right? Right here at the top, it says if you don't stand for something, you will fall for literally for anything. It said it means that if you don't have a strong personal belief or values to guide you, you are likely to be easily swayed by anything. That's Jake. That's our people, from the youngest to the oldest and in between, right? They don't have, it's like they're really a sheep, man. You study sheep. Sheep without their shepherd, they dead. They're gonna wander off into death, into predators that, that's why Jake has to be led. And a lot of Jake's they try to act like they self-willed. They think they strong within the flesh, but they not. It says you are likely to be easily swayed for anything, even if it's not aligned with what you might consider right or good. And that's Jake. Like the LGBT thing, Jake know that's not right. Our people know that shit ain't right, but they follow it because they don't want to make any waves. They want to just, fit in. They don't want to cause no problems, right? So to speak. Right? They don't stand for nothing, but they'll stand for Thanksgiving Day. They'll stand for Christmas. They've been conquered. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at a destroyed people, man. Right? But these be the same ninjas that'll spin a block and kill their own people. But they won't do that to the Edomites. And they go to show you that our people's sick. Let me go here. 1 Corinthians 2:14 at the top. It says, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the spirit of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah. And it's going back into this teaching with the so-called UFOs to be able to understand that this is real, this is true, and this has been in the Bible the whole time. For they are foolishness unto him. So you might have one of these worldly jakes, like somebody from the black unconscious community, one of these Kemet ninjas, one of these so-called Moors. And when you go into the word Moor, Jake don't study shit. The word Moor just means so-called black. There's no nation that was called Moors, right? Neither can he know them because they are spiritually discerned. You have to have a spiritual mind. And what that means when we say spiritual, when I say spiritual, is being able to filter your mind through the scriptures, right? Not no other shit. Because a lot of our women will say they spiritual, but they into some burning candles and praying to Buddha, sitting Indian style on some folly, man. In Romans 8:6, it says, "For to be carnally minded is death." That's all. That's worried about when you're gonna get your next meal, when the next cookout gonna be, all right? When you gonna get a new car, when you gonna move in a new home, right? When you'll go for vacation, right? And ain't nothing wrong with the things, but you can't make that your number one priorities, right? What college you gonna send your child to? All this crazy stuff, man, right? And that's all. Jake dwells in carnality, right? But to be spiritually minded is life and peace. It's to meditate on things you can't see in front of you, right? Things of the spirit. That's what the spirit is, right? Meditating on things that you can't, tangible things you can't see in front of you right away. That's a part of it, right? And to be able to see past America and be able to see these prophecies coming into fruition, right? Like when we say the chip coming, you got to envision that in your mind, right? People actually getting that and buying and selling, right? I showed a video of that going on in the United Kingdom maybe about 8 months ago. So everything that's in scripture, we seeing it in real life. And none of this is made up. And that should build your faith up and know that this is the truth because you're seeing these things happen in real time. Like ICBM missiles, when I did a lesson about that maybe a few days ago, that's actually in the scripture. And that's actually what we're seeing right now. Let's go here. And this bug that culture that you've been introduced to has made you crazy, man. Most Jakes are insane in the mind, right? They believe in Book of Enoch, the Book of Joshua. I mean, they into the apocalypse of Adam, the apocalypse of Abraham. You know what I'm saying? Jake into Islam. I'm gonna do a video about that. Right? You got these Jakes that's converting to Islam, and Jake been doing that. Jake been all fucked up in the head. You know, it says right here, 2 Timothy 3:5. It says having a form of godliness. So there's many levels with this scripture. Going to the Christian church, our people think they so-called finding God and getting close to so-called God when they go to church on Sunday, not knowing that they're worshiping the Son. You tell them that, and they'll look at you like you got three heads, right? Because they're ignorance. Or they'll say they, blessed and highly favored. They say they God fearing, all this crazy stuff. It's just all hot air, man. It says, but denying the power thereof, from such turn they away. Right here at the top. It says having a form of godliness is a phrase from the Bible that refers to people who appear to be godly. That's your favorite auntie in an all white suit with the Christian, I call it the Christian old lady hat, right? Thinking she did all this wickedness and continue to pray to so-called white Jesus, but having a form of godliness, but it's not the truth. It says people who appear to be godly but do not allow true religion to have a powerful influence in their lives. That means don't celebrate none of these pagan holidays. It ain't enough just to know something. You got to take action, right? Hopefully this lesson was edifying. I guess it went longer than I expected. Call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Brachat, Kodash. Shalom.